Hello, YouTube. My name is Mel from Mel's Paper Makes. I'm a 25-year-old cash stuffer and budgeter here on YouTube. And we are not doing a cash stuffing today because I wanted to go over my September spending with y'all. And I think this is a really important part of budgeting. The first part is actually creating the budget, but the second part is actually following through and recording and analyzing how much you actually spent so you can tweak your budget if you need to. So I've been cash stuffing for about 3 years, and I do it so that I can have a good relationship with the money that I make and also not feel bad about spending the money that I make because I think I work hard for it. So I've been able to pay off my car loan. I'm working on paying down one of my student loans, and I've also want to do fun things like travel. I want to go to a few motorsport events. Um, I also built a computer this year, which is really exciting, but I'm also contributing to my retirement in a Roth IRA and my brokerage, and it's just really exciting. So, if you haven't seen my first video for the budget, where I filled out all of these numbers, um, I get paid every other week at my job where I am a project manager. And the first paycheck is $50 more than the second because that's when I get a $50 reimbursement because I use a personal phone. And then I am not yet eligible for my company's 401k for September. I will be eligible in October. So that's why my numbers are a little higher. And then these are after taxes and insurance. So I'm just going to go over everything, and then I'll also go over my transactions and my sinking funds, but you'll see my numbers and my charts start to populate. I have my summary tables over here, and then these are my categories, my main binders really. But I have my digital bills that I like to keep in in the bank and cash stuff them with prop money. But before we do that, let's talk about my actual paycheck. I did get paid $2,613 for the first one, $2,563 for the second one. So I did get the actual income that I was expecting. So that's really nice. Okay, for my rent itself, my new rent amount will be $1,552.49, but this is just going to round to the nearest dollar. And then the difference is going to go into my bills buffer. So I had $3 extra, so it's going to do that. And then for electric, um, in September, I did finish out my move, and the electric for this month was $75. That's with my old apartment and my new one. For internet, it was 75. These are all rounded numbers to the nearest dollar. My phone, I budget usually $60, but then I also give my parents the phone reimbursement. So, oops, that is 110 in total. My student loans did get its full 425, and this is the rounded minimum monthlies. And then my fifth student loan got an extra $200 to try and get that down to 5,000 by the end of the year. Giving did get $10, and then water and trash. I did set aside $30, but I didn't pay this one yet because I need to double check the frequency of when it comes out. So, as you can see, my numbers here aren't equal because I'm $5 short up here. So I am going to put the difference of this to the $5. I'm going to put that in bills buffer, and that will be the $8. So these two numbers match, and I am happy with that. So after my bills, it's my daily cash. And this one's a little bit weird how I do it because I actually record the money that was spent instead of the money that was actually put in there. I put in this total amount here, but my actual spent for these categories, um, I know it's a little weird how I do it, But for this one, for groceries, I got $181 here. 0.3. Don't know why I have cents in this one. Actually, I'm not going to include the cents. I'll take those away. Oh, it's rounded weird. Okay. 181 for groceries, gas. I did $89. Eating out was 107, well, 118. And spending, I did spend $95. So there is a difference here, and the difference will kind of go to various different things. It's mostly my challenges and my sinking funds, but we'll go ahead and move on. My emergency didn't get anything because it has been fully funded, so that's 0 going in there. Medical got 100. My future pet did get 20. Travel got 20. Tech got 180. Future got 40. And then extra week and buffer got $0. Fitness and wellness, 0. Memberships is 25. And in this month, you'll see that it's a little bit higher. And that's because I didn't record the um the the August Apple payment. So I recorded it in September, but my memberships are all under $25. So there is that. For my Roth IRA, I I did this a little bit wrong. I actually transferred 727 instead of 726. And what I did, I just took that extra dollar out from one of my $1 savings challenge. So that's where that dollar bill came from. I just forgot. And then brokerage got $80. So this one, it's a little bit higher, but that's totally okay with me. My sinking funds got its full $540. My car Claudia did get the full 220, and then moving did get $40, and I do have $116 left over, and a huge chunk of that, not a huge chunk, all of that is from the daily cash. So for my sinking funds, I put an extra $45 here, and then for my challenges, I put the rest of it in here. It's split between my $1 savings challenges and then my floral funds savings binder. So that's where all of my money went for September. You can see my breakdown is extremely similar. These numbers are very similar except for the daily cash. But now I'm going to go over to my sinking funds. So let me actually zoom in. Not too far. I'll share that with y'all in just a little bit. But I have added a spent column. Ooh, a little too thin. Okay, I have added a spent column. I didn't put in a how much was actually going in. I just did the start, the end, and how much I spent to kind of get an idea on my average spending per month. Um, you can see I did about $374 in spending, a lot in spending because I did go to a motorsport event. I did travel for that one. I did some spending in my apartment because I was moving. And then, yeah, race tickets is another one. Again, it's just the motorsport event. So now I will take you over to my transactions. Let me zoom back out because at the beginning of the month, I showed um, my transactions. I do have another column here that is the description, but I like to hide that because there are some local chains and I just want to keep that a little bit private. But you can see the dates that I spent and the category that I spent and the amount. This one is really interesting. It's negative because it is actually a credit to me. So I updated my insurance information because I moved and they actually gave me a credit. So that is reflected in my transactions just because I want this to be pretty accurate. So as you can see, I just enter my amounts, the categories, and these values right here kind of just take these amounts if the category here matches the category there. So it's a big sum if. And you can see my rent amounts here to the cent. Giving got I spent $30 because I have been slacking and I haven't done the giving for the last 2 months. And I was like, you know what? I'm just going to take my $30 from the last 2 months and September and just donate it all at once. So that's what I did. You can see how much I spent for my groceries and then my long-term savings, my monthly memberships, and my retirement. And you can see that's all broken down right here. So in total, for the month of September, I spent $4,786. Remember, I made 5,176, but I did do a lot of spending from my sinking funds and my short-term savings. So take that with a grain of salt and my long term savings as well. So, I have a lot of sinking funds. I really enjoy having that in my budget because it lets me not feel bad about spending the money. And I think in September, this total was like $6,000, um, a lot more than what came in, but that was because I had savings or sinking funds for moving, and that's when the the majority of that money went out. But yeah, as you can see, I finished moving, and then I also went to IMSA Battle of the Bricks. That was the motorsport event that I went to, and then August and September, the Apple payment was recorded here, and that's why memberships is higher than what I initially budgeted. So, yeah, this is my spending for September. Hopefully, I'll be able to integrate those numbers that you saw there into this one. But hopefully, by the time this video is uploaded, there'll be template a template very similar to this in my Google Drive that y'all can check out if you want. Obviously, I won't have the actual categories here. I might have one just to have an example for y'all, but yeah, if you have any questions, please let me know. But please know that I am just a random girl on the internet sharing my silly random numbers. And I just do this for fun. Like I said, budgeting is very important and it can be very fun, but you have to do the second part of the budgeting where you actually have to go back and look at your numbers. So, my budget this month was pretty good. I'm very happy with it. The sinking funds has a really good amount going in, but as you can see here, a good amount is also going out, and it's going to be the Burr months. Well, it already is the Burr month, September, but I tend to spend a little bit more during the Burr months because of the holidays and my birthdays, and other family birthdays and anniversaries. So it's going to be a lot of spending in the next few months. So I'm very glad that I have this routine set up. But yeah, if you have any questions, please let me know. Check out my other videos on my channel to see me actually cash stuff. And again, if you have any questions, let me know. But thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!